Hey, Mrparka here to review a new one from Vinegar Syndrome. Well, a new release. This is Kevin Tenney's Witchtrap, aka The Presence, is what the print on this one says. Yeah, I'm familiar with Kevin Tenney's work. I'm pretty sure any horror fan is, and I'm pretty sure almost everybody's familiar with Vinegar Syndrome. They remaster and fix up a lot of old movies, a lot of beat-up prints, and occasionally they'll do a lot of porno, but they do some horror films on the side, which is pretty cool. And yeah, they did Witchtrap, which never been released on DVD or Blu-ray, maybe a Laserdisc, but there definitely was a VHS from Magnum Films. I had always bought this VHS when I saw it. I always liked Kevin Tenney. He did Night of the Demons, Witchboard, The Cellar, Pinocchio's Revenge, a slew of stuff, man. Witchboard 2. Yeah, so Kevin Tenney was kind of a fairly prevalent name in horror films, and I had seen quite a few of his movies growing up and rewatched a lot of them. I always enjoyed them. Witchtrap was one I actually never checked out. I guess then after that point I just waited for a DVD to come out. I always knew that it had a real kind of a cult following, as all his movies do, but yeah, I must say that I was actually pleasantly surprised when I put this one in here. This is actually an uncut print, which no one's really seen except the cast and crew from Kevin Tenney's personal collection, which I thought was really cool. So it looks pristine, looks great, amazing, much better than a low budget like $500,000 film from 1989 or 88 should look. But it has Hal Havins, Linnea Quigley, and a couple other familiar faces from Kevin Tenney's movies, so that's always a plus. Essentially what we have here is kind of a Legend of Hull House or Poltergeist kind of a crew that come into this supposedly haunted house, and they're supposed to exorcise this ghost so the guy can turn it into a bed and breakfast. They along with them is a few rent-a-cops that, because it's dangerous, people have lost their lives in a building before. Pretty much, the film gets started right away. Hal Havins, who plays Stooge in Night of the Demons, is the groundskeeper, and he's definitely, not on the up-and-up level. So people start getting, there's a physical medium and a mental medium. Through the physical medium, the killer starts to come through and pick the people off with, with objects floating in the air and among other things. There's some gory points in the movie. It's maybe not as gory as Night of the Demons or even Witchboard, but there's some moments. I think maybe it is gory as Witchboard, but there's some pretty gratuitous moments in here, including an amazing head explosion, which is finally uncut, and somebody gets shot, and it's pretty brutal actually, among other deaths. There's some nudity in here, like Kevin Tenney always does. It's short, and the whole movie's fun. The dialogue is pretty ridiculous, but at moments it has its charm. There's lots of jokes. One of the rent-a-cops is just a sarcastic, kind of a snarky asshole, and his dialogue grows on you. It's pretty funny, and the way he treats most of the other cast and crew is pretty hilarious. There's some pretty silly scares in here as well. I know that somebody had pointed out the whole behind the window, behind the blinds scare is just really kind of pointless, but you get a good gag in there. I know a lot of people won't like this, don't think it's too cheesy, but for me, I really loved it. It was a movie I wish I had saw 20 years ago, to be honest. I thought the cast was fairly likable, and the characters were actually fairly likable. Most of them were, at least. And, the death scenes were fun. And it didn't wear out its welcome. And the killer was actually pretty creepy. Same killer, I believe, from Witchboard, if I'm not mistaken. It looks just like him. I think it's him. So much so, Witchtrap and Witchboard, same director. The inside case, which is the original VHS cover, says not a sequel to Witchboard, which is probably what this movie had following its whole time. The special features are abundant, which are amazing. There's commentary with Kevin Tenney. It has an actor, the cinematographer, and I believe somebody else on there. They chat. They seem to have a good time. And Kevin Tenney's one of those guys that's always in a great mood, seemingly. I met him at a convention. He's really nice, and he just seems like he is full of energy, and he loves his movies, and he loves film, and he's grateful for people liking him, I think, and grateful for having a nice career, and he thinks it, I could tell, I mean, just hearing him, he's like, he's enthused that these movies are getting this treatment, and I appreciate that. So the commentary is actually really good, I thought, and fun. There's a bunch of interviews on here, including with Linnea Quigley, Kevin Tenney, the cinematographer, the special effects. There's a couple audio interviews with Kevin Tenney's brother who did the music, and one of the other special effects artists. So the thing's loaded. They do a lot of anecdotes on the movie, lots of funny stuff. Like I said, there's a commentary as well. There's actually a short movie on here called Book of Joe, which was one of Kevin Tenney's film school movies, which is kind of this strange religious thing. And it's kind of cute, and there's some moments of brutality in the beginning that kind of threw me for a curve when the movie got so kind of, it challenges your brain a little bit, and I thought it was kind of cool. There's also an alternate ending for that. So, man, this has got to be the definitive, Witchtrap, and I enjoyed it. It's a late 80s kind of cheesy, silly horror movie, and the acting ranges, but when I'm watching the special features in here, you learn that it had to be completely ADR'd, which makes sense because some of the performances are just a little too awkward to be just normal, and I think it plays into the charm of the movie. The setting's great, and the gore's fun, the nudity's fun. Kevin Tenney makes really fun movies, and I think this one is no exception. And it's also nice to see in his student film, he pretty much uses 3 or 4 of the same cast members popping up. So yeah, Vinegar Syndrome does an excellent job on this kind of stuff, and there's a DVD and Blu-ray in here, and I'm always impressed with what they do, and they take the time and care with, this has got to be somebody's favorite movie out there. I enjoyed the hell out of it, and they take the time and care that for every movie, and I'm always impressed with what they do. I'd actually like to make this a weekly segment, every Friday or something, or one day a week I'll get to a Vinegar Syndrome title because I pretty much buy everything they put on Blu-ray because, these guys are so good they could make a turd look great, and I'm not saying Witchtrap's a turd, it's far from it. It's a really, really fun horror supernatural thing, so check it out, and buy some Vinegar Syndrome stuff. I'm Mr. Parka. Thank you very much for watching, and have a good one.